Facebook live stream and over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions, including Radio WA, ATL FM, Cape Coast, KTU Radio Koforidua, Radio Max, Takrady Lawn, UFM Hohwe, A1 Radio, Dreams FM Bolga, Jubilee Radio Keta, and Go Digital on Spotify, Facebook, and the myjoyonline.com app. And coming up, residents of Ichuma Nwabieja South constituency in the Ashanti region chased out their member of parliament with machete over poor roads in the area.
You have
seen the road. Did you like it? You want us to continue voting for you? We helped you win elections. All we are demanding is our fair share of development.
We hear from the MP shortly. Allegations of corruption, abuse of office and fabrication creating friction among top hierarchy of the Ghana Revenue Authority. We have leaked internal memos that highlight the deep-seated animosity amongst the officers in charge of Ghana's revenue mobilization. And also coming up, what's fueling the continuous spread of HIV in Ghana despite rampant campaigns against the virus.
You can't
get it if your partner wears waist beads. AIDS is no longer deadly.
Stay with us as we hear from some Ghanaians as the Ghana AIDS Commission calls for greater awareness of HIV disease amongst at least 23,000 persons testing positive in the last 6 months alone. How bad are students affected by the high cost of living?
My fees for a year is 1,751 cedis, and the accommodation fees for a semester is 427 cedis. I decided to use this one to support myself in school.
And we hear from a level 200 student of the University of Ghana who says she's had to take up 3 jobs to be able to meet the high cost of student accommodation on campus. That's for our Living Standard series today. Plus, we'll take you live to the Accra International Conference Center on day 2 of the 2022 edition of Ghana's biggest housing fair, the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair. And in sports,
the draw of the UEFA Champions League group stage is happening later today. We have an interesting perspective of the competition shortly.
A little later in showbiz as well.
She's very musically inclined, so she tells you about this is sounding too high. I really respect that criticism.
We asked that question. What support does your partner provide for your career? More from Stoneboy as he explains the influence of his wife on his music. These and more here on the news at midday with me, Blessed Sogah. Thanks for choosing us. Joy News, independent, fearless, and credible. And this afternoon, residents of some communities in the Ichuma Nwabieja South constituency in the Ashanti region have chased their Member of Parliament, Emmanuel J, with a machete over poor roads in the area. The MP was on a tour of some communities within the constituency when his constituents asked him to leave. Nanaya Ojima has more in the following report.
3 communities, Coben, Saidi and Amanchia, met the MP who was on a tour with fierce resistance. Some of the residents wielding machetes threatened the Member of Parliament. At Amanchia, the chief of the community refused to attend a meeting where the MP was expected to listen to the concerns of the community. Nana Efifa Buansan II explains.
You have seen the road. Did you like it? You want us to continue voting for you? We helped you win elections. All we are demanding is our fair share of development. We are not in good terms with the NPP and we must tell them. You want us to pour libation on your behalf. We will do that, but you have to do better. Your performance in the Ashanti region is not encouraging. Whoever says otherwise is lying. We will vote against you if election is conducted today. Go and tell the president we like him. But this is the truth.
About 3 years ago, the road between Uyoso and Antwerp was milled for reconstruction. This was because the road was riddled with potholes, which affected movement in the area. Construction of drainage systems commenced immediately, but the contractor later abandoned the construction. Residents say the contractor has not been on site since the beginning of the year. They have filed a complaint to the office of the MP, but they are yet to receive any positive
welcome
response.
to the Joy Business
The
Minute,
Member of
brought to you by
Parliament, Emmanuel J. Anshre, wants the residents to exercise restraint.
Yes, you are Hanuman. ABC, I had that. Now, I'm my chairman. A choir.
This is the first time something like this has happened. The enthusiasm with which you voted the NPP is the reason behind this action. I can't condemn the act.
So because my idea na minimum ending year.
I have accepted that we haven't completed the road, but I assure you the road will be fixed before 2024 ends.
2024. Na ya kwan ani edabai ni aye amamo ma man chaye dai afantu aprefra. E ma nso hu se abatu akoye no e ho mfaso ni.
For Joy News, Nanaya Ojima reporting.
And we'll definitely get you some updates later on. But Joy News is this afternoon learning of some renewed land fighting between the communities of Jijong and Tibong. One person killed, fighting ongoing. Security forces are unable to assess the community due to the bad nature of the road. Now, soldiers are also being airlifted to the areas. Reports indicate that residents are fleeing the area. Northeast Regional Correspondent Eliasu Tanko joins us on the phone with more. Eliasu, what more can you tell us? Give us some updates from where you are.
Well, we know that the fighting renewed somewhere last month, but the security was able to bring it under control. As we speak, we understand that there was a renewed fighting last night, and as I talk to you now, we understand fighting is ongoing. The local police are not able to reach the scene because of the bad nature of the road. And so this morning, the military has been very busy airlifting soldiers from Tamale to that particular area. Tension remains very high in that particular area, and we understand that one person has been killed. But for now, we understand the security are in the community, and they are trying to maintain calm and order.
And for the local authorities, have we heard from them on this matter?
Regional Security Council just held a meeting over that particular incident some few days ago. We understand the District Security Council has also organized an emergency meeting in the district capital, Tripoli. And so, yes, the local authorities are raising or putting up measures to ensure that this particular situation does not escalate to other communities.
So that's Joy News Northeast Regional Correspondent Eliasu Tanko reporting of some renewed land fighting between communities of Jijong and Tibong. We'll bring you updates later. This afternoon, there's also fresh revelation detailing deep-seated animosity amongst the top hierarchy of the Ghana Revenue Authority that borders on alleged corruption, abuse of office, and fabrication. Joy News is in possession of a letter from the National Security dated October 21, 2021, questioning the Custom Division's conduct during the impounding of some suspicious trucks and the subsequent responses from the officers involved. The division's top officer is currently at loggerheads with the Office of the Special Prosecutor over a report issued earlier this month which uncovered alleged corruption supervised by the former's outfit, leading to a loss of revenue to the state. My colleague Elton Broby joins me in studio with the memos. Elton, help us understand what, first of all, triggered the storm.
So these are correspondence and internal memos dating back to 2021. So the first one is dated 8 October 2021. This is from Johnny Agbau, who described himself as an Assistant Commissioner, Intelligence Unit of GRA, and tax compliance exercise. That's the subject in which he wrote this memo to the Assistant Commissioner, Intelligence Unit, and then copied the National Security. And according to what we have, he says the intelligence operation led by one John Agbau, I and the driver commenced tax compliance exercise on the 7th of October 2021 on the Flower Hole Road. The team intercepted 2 trucks at the Ponberia on their Flower Accra Road registration number GW675911 and GT 850216. Immediately the trucks were intercepted. The owner of the truck with registration number GT 675916, known as Shatawale, placed a call and brought the phone to me to talk to someone allegedly from the Commissioner Customs Office, which I refused. She brought the phone to me the second time and said someone called Kojo Bonsu wanted to talk to me. I again refused to talk to the person. The third time, she said Kojo Bonsu and I should release the truck to go. At this point, I ordered the truck driver to move to the Kotoka International Airport barracks for further action. I personally boarded the vehicle leading the truck registration number GW6959, and I asked the second truck to follow suit. So the summary of what he's trying to say, according to this memo, is that they had calls from people at GRA, including the commissioner in charge of customs, Kenneth Damwa, instructed them to allow this vehicle that had failed to pay the required taxes to go.
So what response are we getting from the officers mentioned?
So if you go through the memos, there's also a correspondence between national security and the Commissioner General, and the national security letter, in fact, encouraged them to probe these matters that have come into the attention of national security. So given the implication of this development, particularly those related to tax evasion on the domestic revenue mobilization effort of GRA, your outfit is urged to investigate the matter of tax evasion and the complicity of some officers at custom and bring this matter to the Minister of Finance attention accordingly. And this is signed by Edward Asomani, Deputy National Security Coordinator.
And we're learning that there's also a response from the Commissioner General of the GRA.
So the Commissioner General of the GRA, in response to the letter from the National Security, says, reference to your letter dated 21st of 2021 and the subject involved. He says, I wish to inform you that the letter was referred to all the officers whose names appeared on the said letter for comments and response. All the officers denied that they made or received calls from any importer whatsoever on the day. Meanwhile, a report submitted by John Agbawu on the incident, interception of trucks registration number, again is provided, did not mention the names of the officers as having placed a call or talked to him on someone else's phone, and he provided a number that was used to make the call, and says that it's instructive to know that the commissioner in charge of custom in his response vehemently denied the allegation. And this is where the controversy starts, because you have officers at the custom division whose name appeared in relation to the first whistleblower's account, saying that they were involved in allowing this vehicle to go and evading tax in the process, and they've also given their own accounts. Now we have Kenneth Damwa, who is denying and actually asking that a thorough investigation is instituted into this matter to bring finally to it, creating doubts about the Commissioner General's comment on this matter.
In all of this, Elton, do we know if government is taking any action?
So my information at the Ministry of Finance says that this matter took place in 2021 and that it revealed a lot of things regarding how customs work in relation to revenue mobilization and how some of them use their own discretion to allow vehicles that evade taxes to go. And that they've been investigating, some investigations are still ongoing, and it will be too early for them to comment on the matter.
Elton Brobe is our presidential correspondent. This afternoon, the Ghana AIDS Commission is urging Ghanaians to take necessary precaution to avoid contracting HIV. Latest data released by the Commission shows that some 23,495 people tested positive for the virus in the first half of this year. Despite the figure being slightly lower than that of the same period last year, the Commission is, however, worried and intends to intensify education. We'll hear from the Commission shortly, but my colleague Isaac Kofi Ajay, data analyst with Joy Research Desk, joins me with the latest figures. Kofi, give us the latest.
Well, Blessed, so this is what we know from data from the Ghana AIDS Commission, and it says, as at December 2021, the estimated population of HIV positive persons in the country stood at 350,000, with only 71% identified by the control program. For the first half of 2021, 25,545 people tested positive. Our analysis of the data shows this figure dropped slightly to 23,495 this year. But comparing the 2021 HIV population to that of 2019 and 2020, Blessed, the population has gone up by more than 2.24% between 2019 and 2021 and 1.12% between 2020 and 2021.
Many thanks, Kofi. Interesting revelations there. Well, some of you have been sharing your thoughts with us generally about the fight against HIV and the latest figures.
When I am married, so I do not do any woman issue. No womanizing. I'm stuck to my wife. I equally have my personal barber who mostly comes to my place. I have this man shaving everything, you understand? So the only advice I would advise my fellow friends is just stick to your partner, condomize, and make sure you are protected.
You know, it's A, B, C. A for abstain, B for being faithful, and C, condomize. So I am doing the B, being faithful.
Reason they are on the rise is true and spread via sex and also sharp objects. Usually when you go to the barbering shop, the tools they are using. So the first thing is abstinence. The second is me getting my own barbering tools. I have a machine I use to shave. When I'm going to the barbering shop, I carry my own machine, scissors, comb, and other tools.
It's because of the corona thing, virus thing. Everybody forgot about the HIV, and then they start banging, let's flow with it, And then when the corona thing came down, the HIV also came out. You know what I'm saying? So that is what is happening now.
Well, in the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi, here's what some residents have had to say.
It's quite a worry. If you hear figures of diseases actually going up, it tells you the kind of lifestyle that people are having.
It's a spiritual disease. Prayers can prevent you from being infected by HIV/AIDS. You can't get it if your partner wears waist beads. AIDS is no longer deadly. There's a treatment for it now, but if the young girls had something doing, they won't be forced to go and have sex indiscriminately.
I'm very worried about it because when you see it, it has a great effect on the youth, especially the young man who has gone into it.
Some residents of Kumasi sharing their experiences there. Let's speak to Chairman Etuahini. He's the Director General of the Ghana AIDS Commission. He joins us on the telephone lines now. Thank you, Mr. Etuahini, for your time here on the Midday News. So it's interesting that some people are still not aware of the factors that may expose them to the virus. What's your initial take on this?
Well, thank you in the first place for having me. The soundbite from Ashanti region is quite concerning for me because it means there are a lot of misconceptions going on that HIV is a spiritual disease, and if a lady wears beads, is not going to get HIV. I mean that is not true. HIV is not a spiritual disease. It's a disease that affects human beings. And so if people take the risk that would expose them to infection, they surely won't get it. And so it is important for everybody to protect himself. But I'm happy that those in Accra talked about the ABC prevention methods: abstinence from sex, being faithful to one uninfected partner, and using condoms. I mean, these are the three methods of prevention that everybody knows or should know, and comply with them. As long as we do that, we definitely would avert new infections or transmission of HIV in the country.
But then we're dealing with some outstanding cases of 23,000, a little over 23,000. Is it the case that the awareness is not enough, and that's why we're still recording some high numbers?
Well, the numbers that we're talking of are actually cases of people who tested positive for HIV. That in no way suggests that the epidemic is growing in Ghana. But one thing that, gives me comfort is the fact that we are able to pick the cases in health facilities and in our community. And I commend the health workers whose efforts, resulted in these numbers that we are discussing. I also commend those who took the test and now know that they live with HIV because they've been courageous, bold enough, and have the goodwill to know their status. And we recommend that everybody who doesn't know his HIV status should also test, because our policy is to know at least 95% of people living with HIV in Ghana, being diagnosed and knowing their HIV status.
And I'm grateful for your time. That's the Director General of the Ghana AIDS Commission, Chairman Itwahini, speaking to us there. This is the Midday News on Joy 99.7 FM. Stories brought to you so far: allegations of corruption, abuse of office, and fabrication creating friction amongst top hierarchy of the Ghana Revenue Authority. But still to come.
She's very musically inclined, so she tells you about this is sounding too high. I really respect that criticism.
And we're asking that question: what support does your partner provide for your career? More from Stoneboy as he explains the influence of his wife on his music. And also we'll be talking about the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair. And it's time now for sports.
At 4 p.m. later today, the group stage draw for the Euro's most prestigious interclub competition will be happening. And this means that it will be on Joy 99.7 FM. 32 teams in 4 pots will be drawn into 8 groups for this year's competition. My colleague Fentio Tahiru has the dynamics of the draw.
This year's Champions League is very unique because of the World Cup in between. The group stages will begin on the 6th of September, run till the 2nd of November. That is a period of just 9 weeks. Usually the group stages run till the 2nd week of December, but because there's a World Cup in between, UEFA has decided to squeeze all of the group stages into just a 9-week period, which means when the Champions League begins on the 6th of September, of course, live on Joy 99.7 FM, there will be only 3 midweeks without Champions League football up until the 2nd of November. So it'll be lots of back-to-back games in the Champions League. It's also worthy of note that there are no Russian teams in the Champions League this season.
That is my colleague Fentio Tahiru, and he will be joining us for the commentary this year.
Thanks, Muftal. Well, as the cost of living gets tougher, some tertiary students say they have had to stretch themselves doing multiple jobs to be able to afford accommodation on campus. In the latest edition of our Living Standard series, we speak to Sandra Apia, level 200 student at the University of Ghana. She's had to take on 3 jobs to ensure she keeps her room on campus. So how does she manage this with the demands of her education? Mamiesi Nyamisha Thompson has more.
Sandra Apia meticulously fixes artificial nails for one of her clients. It is one of 3 jobs which earns her income for tuition and accommodation at school. At 19, Sandra started selling shoes and clothing when her father's trotro business started struggling. The only way for her to survive is to work hard while she studies.
I worked as a mobile money vendor. I worked as a shop assistant in Okaishi. And lastly, I worked as a sales girl in a cosmetic shop at Dakuma. Around 2020, I decided to buy University of Ghana forms and then take it from there.
For Sandra, a major challenge is securing accommodation cheap enough for her to afford. She currently resides at Volta Hall, one of the halls available to the over 39,000 student population at the University of Ghana.
I decided to maybe work, and then if he is even taking care of the younger ones, I as a senior girl or something will just use this one to support myself in school, since I won't be getting much from him.
And that's the latest in our Living Standard series. We can now cross over to the Accra International Conference Center, which has been transformed for that much anticipated. It's actually underway, so we need to tell you about it. It's the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair. Day 2 is happening today. Maxwell Agbagba has the latest for us. Maxwell, take us away.
Well, Blessed, there's a lot to see here. I've been visiting the exhibitors to see what they have on offer, and I am amazed by what I've seen so far. Let me tell you about just one of them. Now, for homes in waterlogged areas, Blessed, many of them experience dampness of their walls. Now, a part of it gets wet, marring the beauty of your painting. I found a locally made permanent solution to that, and all you need is 2 bags of anti-salt damp treatment chemical produced by Pneumafix Limited Plus. And they tell me that you only need 1 bag of cement plus 2 head pans of sand, and you have no problem with dampness again. Easy peasy. It's that simple. Other stores I've been visiting also is the Crojan water mat, filter. Many Ghanaian homes are shifting to the use of sachet water for domestic purposes. But NORAD's water system says you may not need that again by using its Crojan water mat filter, which among others removes 99.9% of dirt and reduces odor as well. The supervisor told me that you fix it directly to your tap, and then it makes water safer for drinking. Blessed.
Maxwell Agbagba there from the Accra International Conference Center. Well, we're also learning that here at our premises, some unknown men have stormed and picketed Joy 99.7 FM. So let's get the latest for you. My colleague Samuel Mbura has the latest. Sami, what's the situation there?
So I can count over 60 of the city response team members right at the premises of most media. Their demands are that they want to know why they have been directed to suspend all operations. And they are also accusing the Greater Accra Regional Youth Organizer of the MPP of making allegations of extortion and abuse of power by the team members. So that is why they are here, to send a signal that they are unhappy about the situation. They expect that the regional minister steps in to solve the problem.
I'm grateful for your time. That's my colleague Samuel Mbura.
Oh, is it because I buy you designer? We make you feel like say I don't do right. Oh.
And that's his iconic voice. I'm sure you know about him already. Wife of reggae and Afro dancehall artist Stonebwoy Louisa is almost always seen by his side at most of his concerts. So what influence does she have on his music? That's the question we put to him when he came by Hits FM. Listen.
She's very musically inclined, so she tells you about this is sounding too high. Just yesterday I was playing a new record. She's like, this one sounds too high. It's like, so I'm like, no, you just listen, I can actually sing it back here right now. Like, it's not that high. It's just because it sounds like that. And to this part of the song, the whole song is a blend of both low tones and high tones. She's musically inclined. Okay. No lie. I really respect that criticism or that technical support.
And a great tune there from Stonebwoy. But that's how we wrap up the midday news here on Joy 99.7 FM in Accra, on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, and 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. In fact, we have some stories for you there. Our top story there, Mamuwi residents protest 21-day deadline to evacuate. You can get details, plus some more stories, including allegations that aided tax evasion, frivolous and vexatious euros. That's according to the head of the Customs Division at the Ghana Revenue Authority, Kenel Damwa. These and more at myjoyonline.com. I am Blessed Sogah. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Isn't life wonderful when everything worth doing is scheduled? Hitting the stop button on your alarm just in time for your morning jog. That happy moment listening to your baby's heartbeat at the doctor's office. Or an arranged virtual meeting with that big client.
Buy airtime ahead of time with scheduled airtime service on MTN Momo. You can schedule your airtime purchase of any amount, daily, weekly, or monthly by dialing *170# option 3 and follow the process. Or simply dial *170*311# for a superb airtime purchase experience. You enjoy 100% bonus airtime